Hello, good afternoon. Hope everyone's well. We're just going to go through our usual checks. So I'm going to check for movement, check for sound. Hopefully everything's working as it should be. Yeah, that all seems fine. So we get started. Right, we've got a Lovespoon in the vise and we're starting off at the top here. Bespoke spoon. As we always say, we're very lucky that these bespoke spoons, they keep us busy. And as you can see, we're starting off with carving some owls on there. And we've got things like the entwined hearts, little shamrock at the top, a daffodil, a rose, a cross, a football, and some hockey sticks. So all sorts that we got in there. But we're just going to show you the process that we go about hand carving everything. We're going to start off on the owls. I like this one because it's a little bit of a sort of cartoony style owl. A little bit of a simple sort of image of the owl with the with what do we call them? The mortarboard, isn't it? The mortarboard on its head. And yeah, nice design, something different. That's why we like doing bespoke spoons. We're always doing something different, something a little bit more original. And I'm looking at it though, and I'm just trying to decide. We're gonna do our usual where we're working on layers. We've got to decide what we're gonna do in terms of what bits we're gonna push back, what bits we're gonna bring out. Because I'm looking at that mortarboard and right. Yeah, I'm starting to formulate a plan. Should probably do that before I press the button of live streaming. Should probably start thinking about a plan before I press that button, but I'm never that organised. So what I'm thinking, see, Aubrey, good to have you with us. Bore da, it's pronounced da here. Pronounced da for you, I get. Yeah, you're spot on. You nearly beat me to it there. Yeah, we're. I'm just working out here how we're going to do the layers. I'm thinking, as you'd look at that, that would be the top of the mortarboard would be going into. It would be going in like that, wouldn't it? I'm probably going to start doing it like that and then go and disagree with myself. So it would be pushing. Would we be looking at it in that way? Would it be going that way, or would it be going back? This is where we start carving. See, we're having a little bit of an argument with ourselves. That's one way of starting a live stream, isn't it? Is arguing on my own. So basically, what I'm trying to work out from the outset, something I probably should have worked out in my head before I started the live stream, is which bits are going to be pushed back and which bits are going to be brought out. So we're going to start off doing some stop cuts. We need a slightly different curve on the gouge that we're using. So we'll try that angle, see if that will work there. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to work it all out, I hope, on the one owl. And then I'll copy what I've done on the one owl to do the other owl. We've had another interesting week. There's always stuff going on here, as you well know. Always different things happening at the workshop. And so far this week, we've been working on well, I've had a busy morning, typical sort of morning in the workshop, typical Monday morning, because we've been doing our preparation. So we've been doing some scroll sawing, which you can also hear Dad doing in the background there. He's actually on to Christmas decorations. I know it seems a bit early probably, but you've got to be prepared because we're making everything on site. We've got to start doing our Christmas preparation now. Otherwise we're going to find ourselves a bit behind on everything because it soon comes around. We've actually got a few new designs when it comes to Christmas things. Always popular and nice to be doing something different. So I'm going to also work out then the stop cut on this one here. And I am still undecided. It's what's causing me a little bit of thinking time. So as I'm talking, we're thinking, believe it or not. And what's causing me a bit of thinking time is I've got to work out the angle, which way is going to look right for the mortarboard, the top of it. So I've started by going in, and I think that may be wrong. That's wood carving for you, see? Not an exact science. So when we're doing our love spoons, when we're doing our bespoke spoons, it'd be great to, if you always had the exact plan in your head, but there's always an element of trial and error. It's what keeps it interesting. Keeps your concentration as well, and keeps you thinking. So if I push this top bit back, what does that do? For anybody really learning carving, I think this does highlight stuff quite well though, because, you know, if we're just going into it and it just, every time you do it, it's just straightforward and you can work it out immediately, then it's easy, isn't it? But that's where it really gives it a bit of a challenge, is you've got to work everything out as you go in. And I still cannot make my mind what's going to look right for this mortarboard on the owl. I actually think if we angle it the other way, decisions. We got to work this one out. This is going to take some more working out. I think we may. The good thing, as we always do, we've got some layers that we're working with. So we've got a little bit of depth there. We've got plenty of wood. So I may end up doing it one way. It might be one of those situations. Good example for everybody to see, basically. But it may be a situation where we start off doing it one way and end up doing it a completely different way altogether. So we're going to have to go slowly initially on this one, because in my mind at the moment I can't decide what I want to do. Basically, let's explain it more fully. I want to create the effect. The hat would be sitting on top of the head. So I'm going to have to drop this level down slightly so it has that impression where the mortarboard is on top of the head. So in some ways I want this to be the highest layer and then all of this to be pushed back. And at the moment I've got the reverse, because I've changed my mind on the method to use. We then have to create the effect that the body is sort of going behind the head. So the head is going to be quite prominent, and then the feet will be out as well. So it's early stages, and it's just working everything out. But I think it's the right thing to do is to, hello the carver, school teacher couple. I think, no, that's an interesting question. I think possibly university graduates. And I think that there is definitely one school teacher. I think that's right. And there's an interest there with sports, their faith, English, Welsh, so you've got the rows. Oh, there's also an Irish connection. There's a bit of everything on here. So there's all sorts. So those are a few of the things, all interconnected with this particular design. It's proving, actually. I've been working on this one. I've been doing scroll sawing on it this morning, and I've been looking forward to carving it. And as I've got it in the vise now, the actual thought process of how we're going to go about carving everything here is actually, it's causing me a bit of extra thinking that I wasn't anticipating. I thought this was going to be a relatively straightforward one because it was like that cartoon style that I always enjoy. But there's a bit more working out to be done here than I thought. I think that's a good little lesson there when it comes to the wood carving. Never sort of anticipate anything. You never know how things are going to work out. There we are. So we're just going to do the little stop cuts in and around like the eyes, that sort of thing. So we've got that to work from. So we get all of the detail. Once we come over the other side, hopefully that'll be a bit more straightforward because we know the method then. I think the eyes are going to be significant on this one. Make sure that they're nice and prominent. But that mortarboard, should the top go back or should it come out? So are we going to go at that angle or that angle? Quite intricate skull. So yeah, it was intricate skull. It was indeed intricate scroll sawing. It was yeah, quite a little while that we were working on this one. But what you do see when it comes to the scroll sawing, a lot of that you work it out in the design. So that's something, that is a lot of the sort of skill process, is working out in the design. If you can try and work out problems in the design for later on, that really can save you a lot of trouble. And in this one, I thought that this was going to be a more straightforward carving, the owls, than it's so far turning out to be. So we'll literally might be back to the drawing board. Now we'll work it out. We will get a finished result for it, but it might be a little bit different to what I was originally anticipating. I think that's part of the process when it comes to wood carving. A lot of the time when I start something, angle from the top down into the cap. So are you thinking going angle from the top down? You're thinking of going that way. It's interesting. We'll have a go. We'll give it a go, see what happens. What it is because we got the 3 different layers. We got the layer for the head. We got the layer for the the little bit at the top. So I'm going to bring that down in, and so I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but you're thinking of coming in the opposite way. Let me know if that is right. You're thinking of coming in from the opposite way, so we give that a go. So I'm thinking that is going to angle so it's sort of perched on its head, like so. But I want this the middle section I want sort of flat. I should have renamed this one the Trials and Tribulations of Lovespoon Carving, because this is proving a little trickier than I was first expecting. But the one thing we always do is we always find a solution. There's always a way through it. So you can see this bit I want fairly flat, and I just got to try and make up my mind. So I think you're talking, yeah, remember the jack in the box. Yeah, I'm thinking, right, coming from the opposite way. Let's give it a go. I've got plenty of wood here. If we mess it up, we will think of that jack in the box. Tell you what I'm going to do. Here we are. I know what I'm going to do now. We're going to have a little go on this one. Let's just work on this one and try it the complete opposite, as you mentioned, and see what happens. And so that way we got the 2 to compare. And I can put it to everybody then. We can decide what's working the best. Good afternoon, Dancing with Aardvarks. Thank you for joining us. This has turned into help out the wood carver today. Not that wood carver. The wood carver doing the live stream. I'm asking for everybody's help here because this particular one is proving a little bit more tricky than I was anticipating it was going to be. So the thought is to come from this side. Yeah, I think you're definitely right there. That's much better. There we go. That's the beauty, see, you're doing a live stream. That's why it's fantastic that you join us, because I am happier with that. That's much better. Spot on. Thank you to the carver again. You got me out of another spot there. I like it. Already, I've only seen it from upside down, but already that looks like it's working far better. See? I've been asked at different times why we do a YouTube channel. And one of the things I always say is that, you know, we try and help people out who are learning. One of the things that I don't often mention, which is equally true, it sounds as if we're doing it then for our own benefit. It's because everybody else helps us out. So we'd be doing a carving like this and just putting it out to everybody. We found a better solution and a better method. I'll turn it around so I can see it. Yeah, that's spot on. Fantastic. Thank you to the carver. You got me out of another spot there. Can you write me a note so I can show it to my wife? Yeah. Oh, you're definitely right there. We'll have to. Yeah. Next time we speak, I'll have to mention it too. That's. See, and a simple little thing like that, where we get it wrong, and that's the thing. You help us out. So thank you very much for that one. That is spot on. That looks so much better. Amazing how a simple little thing like that as well, though, it can completely throw you off. So all I'm going to do, so that is probably, yeah, first 10 minutes of my live stream, just a simple little thing like that that I didn't even anticipate causing any issues. Has indeed caused me an issue, and it takes that little bit extra time. But look, because we got 2 owls, we tried the first method, which was a fail. And then another method that you've given us. Thank you again, the carver. And that looks far, far better. And it's a good example for how you're learning and you're developing as you're going. But also as well, it's a great example for how we can help one another out. Brilliant. This is why I say as well, as fellow wood carvers, as fellow woodworkers, this is why I encourage everybody, make your own videos, because we've all got different experiences, we've all got different carving abilities, we've all got different methods, and if we share them with one another, it's fantastic. It helps us all out. It's great as well because it's another good example for calling on experience, because as the carver mentioned, that one there was, you were remembering back to the Jack-in-the-Box one that you were doing for your Christmas decorations, and you had the same issue. So it's a brilliant example for how we all learn as we're going along. But there we are, that's another time. Last week you were helping me out with scroll saw blades, and this week helped me out with the carving here, so fantastic. Very much appreciated by us. Gonna say on that front as well, with scroll saw blades, I finished our trials of our scroll saw blades. That'll be coming up soon on the channel, showing everybody the different results, and very interesting, really interesting. The first time that I've worked with Flying Dutchman blades. I've heard a lot about them, seen in Facebook groups, seen different scroll sawers who really, you know, swear by them, always say that they're fantastic, they're really good blades, and I've got to agree. Yeah, I think they're fantastic blades, and so we won't spoil the results, but we've had some interesting findings. Oh, hello, Billy Jack. I haven't even considered the aspect of creating YouTube videos. Very cool. Yeah, I had a little look at yourself. You should definitely. I've seen you did a review video. I noticed that one on your channel. I would say if you do some woodworking videos in the same style, that would be brilliant. I think you'd definitely have people interested if you were doing those on a regular basis. I reckon that you would definitely have people interested in it. Yeah, I encourage anybody to have a go at making the videos, because it's a way of sharing what you do. It's a way of hopefully encouraging others to have a go as well, and it you know, we can all sort of grow together with it. So if you're considering having a go at doing YouTube videos, go for it, because it's great fun. And Worst case scenario, you learn loads, you meet people, because we've met all of yourselves through YouTube, and it's fantastic. It's fantastic to meet new people and to share ideas. So for instance, with this carving here, I know I'd have probably, in the end, figured it out that it should go that way. But it's a heck of a lot quicker if the carver turns around and tells you to go the other way, it'll work better. I like the idea of getting feedback from other carvers with more... Yeah, that's it. Where do you get the Flying Dutchman blades from? I couldn't get them here for a couple of years. I'll put up right, I'll ask Dad if he can grab the packet for me. There's a company in America, and they were brilliant. They were the speed that they delivered them to. Let me think now. It was. I'll get Dad to bring in the packet. I think it's the wooden toy company. I'll put it when I do these different videos as well. I'll put the links up on there for everybody. Without spoiling too much with the videos, what I basically find is that they've got one blade that is exactly the same as the Nikwa Speed. So it's a really good blade. And I also try out all the different Pegasus blades. So I'm not going to say how that went too much, but I was, yeah, very, very pleased with the Flying Dutchman blades, and it was very, very familiar to us in terms of the Nikwa Speed, because what we did find, because we went on I went on eBay, bought up what I thought were going to be the Nikwa number 9 reverse soot blades. Works out they do different types of the same thing. But I'll before the end of the live stream, when Dad's finished on the scroll saw, I'll bring in the packet and I'll show it to everyone, because they've got all sorts of different ones there. I'm probably giving away too much information to you all now and spoiling my video, but I also found a lot of people are interested in spiral blades. I never get on with them. I still don't get on with them. However, I tried one with the Flying Dutchman. It's the best spiral blade I've ever worked with as well, is the Flying Dutchman one. So again, it was basically, and I'm spoiling another video now, but it's to do with the TPI, the teeth per inch. It's the lowest number of teeth per inch. So that's why it was better than the other spiral blades I've ever worked with. And that's another video then that I got coming up, where I was looking at those sorts of, what makes a good scroll saw blade. I think with ourselves as well, because you've always got to remember that different people are working in different materials when it comes to scroll sawing. So everything that we're generally doing with the scroll saw is in hardwood, and I think it's quite a specialist sort of thing then when it comes to your scroll saw blades, because we're working in hardwoods. We need a specific blade for doing it. There's also another one that we look at in our videos called by Pegasus, new blade they're doing, and they are just asking, Dance with Aardvark's asking Billy Jack if he's in the UK. I think Billy Jack's in Texas, if memory serves. So I've been trying to find a record 52.5 vice. Turns out the old ones are very hard to find. That's what we got. We got a couple of those. Where would you find something like that? I mean, there are some of the, the old tool makers, that sort of thing. Yeah, I mean, here in the UK, I may be wrong. Dances with Aardvarks may say differently, but in the UK, I think they're fairly common. You may find them on sort of eBay, something like that, second-hand ones in the US, or even someone in the UK doing shipping. And then, it's the companies that are selling old tools. That's another line you could go down. Right, so that's coming on. I still think we need more angle, because I went the wrong way first of all. We now need more angle going this way. because we only just want to bevel just the top of that one going the other way. So it's starting to take shape. We're going to do a little bit of fine detail on the feet. Still need to push the face back as well, drop that layer in between the eyes. So the idea is that the eyes and the beak will be more prominent. They'll be like the top layer. The face of the owl will be pushed back, and then like that cap just sitting on the top. Interesting thing is when I've done this method that the carver suggested here, that one that I've done from the start like that, I think still looks better than this one. So we've got more work. We're probably going to have to match that one to this one though to give us more depth, which is a bit annoying now because I really like the way that one looks. Let's look. Can I get away with angling this back like so? It's getting there. It's just going to take a little while just to recover it all. Yeah, so those are some of the things that we've been looking at. Some of the other things then we got on coming up on the channel. We're going to put out a new video soon with some Christmas ideas. I know it's early, but it's always good fun. Shipping, that would be, yeah, shipping's going to be a challenge on that one. Because, yeah, that's the thing with the shipping, because it's the weight, isn't it? They are heavy. What would be the sort of more modern equivalent? Is there something similar to it? Because it does a great job for us, these ones. I mean, our bench, again, we'll have to do a bit of a video on that. Somebody was asking about it, the stories, you know, behind our workbench. Ours actually originally came out of a local school, and over the years we've chopped bits off, we've put bits on, we've changed all sorts of different things with it to make it, you know, do different jobs at different times for us. But all in all, it does the job that we want it to do. Came out of a local school, Jeffreyston, just down the road from us, when they didn't want it any longer, and here it came. Back on the front as well of making videos, yeah, it's a great way of sharing your work, sharing your ideas, and hopefully it can help out one another with sort of different things that we're looking at. And it's always great if you've got, you know, methods and things a little bit different, because we all have different ideas and all different experience and knowledge. So it's great if we can help one another out. That's the great thing about YouTube, is that, for instance, this live stream, they don't actually charge us for doing a live stream, and so we can share with everyone what we're doing. Erwin, yeah, okay, have a great day. It's 9 AM here, time to get some work done. I hope you have a good day. Thanks again. No, you're welcome. Thanks for joining us, and I hope you have a good day. Hope you have a productive day in work, and we look forward to seeing, if you do make any of those videos, we look forward to seeing them. Yeah, I think Erwin might do a modern version. Yeah, I don't think the steel is as good. Yeah, that's a big problem that you always get. Quality of steel is not what it used to be with a lot of things, unfortunately. On that subject, gouges. I was looking around, every now and then I have a little look around on eBay, see what gouges are available, and I saw something I've never seen before, and that's an Addis Senior. I've never come across that before. So basically you've got DJ Addis and SJ Addis. So those are two tool makers that we're familiar with, and we've got gouges made by SJ Addis, we've got gouges made by DJ Addis. I'd never seen one labelled Addis Senior before, so that is obviously made by the father. So that's predates. It was a gouge that predated what we've got ourselves. So how old that is? Probably, I don't know, maybe up to 150 years old. So yeah, a little bit older. A little bit older again. Right, so we're just going to shape the body. So we shape those feet. Just taking all of that paper drawing away. Shaping as we're going. We've got a little bit of detail to add as well on the few feathers on the wing. You just see a little pause as well in the background. That's because I don't know if Dad's changing a blade in there or something like that, but he's just stopped a minute there, changing jobs that he's working on. What he's actually working on, we do two different types of Christmas decorations. So we do ones that are thicker and are carved. So they have more work on them. Car boot sales, flea market section. Yeah, definitely. Spot on, Aubrey. Yeah, we've seen things like that. The gouge I'm working with at the moment, this came out of a market up in Cardigan, north from where we are. Thomas Woodcarver's just walked in. Could you do me a favour? Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. We had everybody, not everybody, sorry, but people were asking about where we got the Flying Dutchman blades from. The packet, there's a packet in by the scroll saw, right, and it's the big packet with all the scroll saw blades in.
It's the one with the clogs, is it?
Yeah, it's like a blue colour, and it's the big bag where we keep all the scroll saw stuff in. Here we are. Dad will have a look for that one. Just bought 6 Addis gouges. Oh, good job. And a few others. Haven't tried them yet. Ah, Addis, they're great. Have you worked with Addis gouges before? Be interested to see how you get on with them. They're in good condition. Fantastic steel.
Flying Dutchman?
Yeah.
So yeah, I said it's the one with the clogs on.
One with the clogs on? I thought it's got a ship on it.
Oh, shit.
Oh no, there's no marking. Here we are.
Other than Dutchman, they need a pair of clogs, wouldn't they?
There we go. This one here, the wooden teddy bear. It was, if you put in a search on there, and especially if you're in the US, the Wooden Teddy Bear Company, I think it is, they've got the Wooden Teddy Bear ink. This one here is a 2-way cut blades that Dad's handed me. I bought 4. What I did, I basically bought up the 4 ones, 1 spiral just to try it because I've never got on with them, and I keep trying to find one that works for me, and yeah, I've pretty much given up on that, to be honest with you, but I always like to try it. But then I bought 3 others, Flying Dutchman ones, the ones that I thought would be most suitable for cutting hardwoods. And if you're thinking of these ones here, the 2-way ones, they were cutting well. What I would say about them is there was a little bit more work than the reverse tooth blade when it comes to the bottom edge. So yeah, that was just what I found with them. I would still go for the number 9 reverse tooth, but Flying Dutchman, and it may work out cheaper if you're in the US. It may work out cheaper to buy the Flying Dutchman ones, because I think it's more difficult to get hold of the Nikwa blades, and they're just as good. So that's my assessment of those ones there. I'm afraid if I was doing affiliate marketing, I'm not very good at it in terms of I tend to just tell it as it is. If it's a good blade, I'll tell you it's a good blade. If it's not a good blade, I'll tell you it's not a good blade. There's no point in giving you information that's not going to help you. Those are, we just share our experiences. Mostly Henry Taylor and Crown. Ah, very good. Crown, that's a new one for myself. I'm familiar. I'll ask Dad if he knows that one. Henry Taylors we've got, but more modern Henry Taylors. Good gouges, though, in fairness to them, even if they are more modern ones. But the Addis ones, beautiful steel in Addis gouges. Very well made. Right, so we're going to go back the other way on these eyes now. Just taking off the paper as well as we go in. And the eyes, that sort of teardrop shape. And we're going to redo. I'm going to redo the stop cuts in and around the eyes. So just going back around the stop cut, and then I'm going to do. There's our small little micro gouge that we've got, and I'm going to use that one then for just putting full stops, just doing the pupils on the eyes. Yeah, when Dad comes back in, I'll get his thoughts on that one as well, because it's the first time I've ever seen him actually say that a blade was as good as the Nikwa. Because normally he just goes, no, 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 because he's worked with the same blade for over 20 years. So it's not surprising that he finds that one is the best one for what we do. And those wondering, you know, why we haven't sort of tried different blades before, it's basically because that Nikwa one, it does the job. So once you find a blade that does the job, you don't need to worry about it too much. Right, so a couple of full stops for the eyes, a couple of circles, just like so, and just like so, and that one there. And I still think we got to do something. See, I prefer the hat on that one there. So I'm thinking that to get that right now, we're going to have to drop this part further back. And that's why we mark it out with a bit of thickness in the wood. So if you do have things like this, you can sort it out. My brother's going to lend me his hand scroll saw, a very deep hacksaw. Wow. No, I'm not familiar with that one. Sounds interesting. So how does that work? If it's a hand scroll saw, it's not like a coping saw, is it? We sometimes use a coping saw, depending on the job. But not familiar with a hand scroll saw. It's a learning live stream for me. Good stuff. Yeah, is it mechanized, or is it like a deep hacksaw? Is it like that? Something like that one there. That's our little coping saw. Because the scroll saw is mechanized. One thing I would like to do in the future, just to demonstrate, is to spend a little time on an entry level scroll saw, and to go through like the differences with that in comparison to our Hegner, because I see on a lot of different places that people use, there are places like Lidl and Aldi now, the supermarket companies here, I would have thought places like Walmart in the US, they're making these scroll saws now, and people are using them to make different things on. I'd be interested to know how they actually compare. I know in the past when we got into scroll sawing, we changed quite quickly.
Oh, I'm taking my car out of here.
Okie doke. Oh, the carver's back on getting the. He's catching hummingbirds, similar to a coping saw. My brother, right? Called it a hand scroll saw. Yeah. Like that, but the U is really deep. We refer to it as a fret saw. That's what we refer to it. Yeah, but it does the same thing, and it's the original version of a scroll saw. There we are. Thomas Woodcarver's just handed me that one there. Is it similar to that one? And again, look, that's got a Nikwa number 9 reverse tooth blade in it. So that would be a hand scroll saw, wouldn't it? Yeah. Really? Yeah. There we are. Have a look at that one. Are we there now with that one there? Because that's got a scroll saw blade. And where was that one made? Made in England.
Eclipse.
Always use Eclipse fret saw blades. There you go. Thomas the Woodcarver following the advice as always. Always use Eclipse blades. He's got a Nikko number 9 reverse turf blade. Does the job though, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Right, so what I want to do, I only want to give it a very small bevel this way. And we've virtually got this back. I'm still not... Because we got that wrong, first of all, I still feel as if there's something needs to be done. I think that the...
Who wants some real fun?
Here we are. Oh, there we are, look. We're getting that is proper, that's a proper one now, isn't it? And that's like a bandsaw blade, isn't it?
Yeah.
In that one there. There we are. We got all sorts of kit here, haven't we? With we got on display and that we've been given it over the years. I wonder how the spiral blade would do in that. Yeah, interesting. I'm, as I said with it all, I cheers it. There's Thomas Woodcarver's away. Normally called a fret saw. Hobbies vintage ones are really nice. Modern new concept ones are the joy to use. Yeah. Well, yeah, the spiral blades, I'm probably the worst person to ask when it comes to spiral blades because I'm not a fan, I gotta be honest. I've tried all sorts of different ones. The best one I've ever worked with is that Flying Dutchman one, but it's still, as we would say, not my cup of tea. I don't know what it is about them, but it just doesn't perform as I would like, basically. Right, so we've spent a long time, far longer than I would have anticipated, on these owls. And the reason for it is because of my initial approach to it wasn't quite right. So it's taken us a while now to try and sort of sort them out. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to come back to them because you get sort of to a stage where you've been fiddling around with them for a long time, and sometimes it can be better to go away and come back to it. So let's get on with the rest of the spoon here and come back to them and see how I feel about them in a minute. It's a matter of sorting them out. My honest thoughts is that one there has got a better hat on it than the other one, but this one is cut deeper down in now, so I might have to flatten all of that back off again and go deeper into the wood. Ultimately, we got to do what we need to do to get the job done. That's what I asked. Yeah, a terrible person to ask on it because the main thing I find, what it is, the spiral blades, because there are blades on all sides, you don't get the finish. Like on the straight blade, it's just cutting, all the teeth are on the one side. As with the spiral blade, you've got teeth going right the way around it. So whatever I've ever done with them, I'm always faced at the end of it with a lot more finishing work. So that is something that either I've never mastered or is something that you have to accept working with them. It won't cut. It produces a lot more dust because, of course, it's a wider cut that it does because it is it's cutting in all directions. As that finer, thinner blade, it only cuts that single line. So I just find that the other ones are more precise and more accurate, that sort of thing. But I would definitely, I recommend anybody try different blades, try different ones, find out what suits you, suits your style, suits what you're making, because that plays a part in it. Because I'm working in hardwoods, that is part of the issue, I think, personally. If you're working in other materials, might not be so bad. So what we're doing now, we're doing what we would normally do in terms of working on those entwined hearts. So we create that effect that the surrounds are going over and under and over and under. So it's sort of eternal. It's that romantic symbolism. And one thing then on this one, we've also got the football down the bottom. So we've got all the like those, how many sides? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hexagons. So that'll be another thing now that we're starting to think about. Because a lot of the other things, they're things that I carve regularly. So you can do them without thinking more so. So we've created that effect on this side. We do all of our stop cuts. We do the stop cuts on the hearts, stop cuts on the initials, and then start dropping the depth of them down. We're then going to turn it round in the vise. Oh, question. I'm making a cabinet like a machinist, yeah? Cabinet today to hold my gouges. Do you think 9-inch deep drawer are adequate? It will hold the gouges I have now, but think about later. 9-inch depth. Let's have a little think about that. First thing I would ask, how many gouges have you got now? That's the first thing that I would ask on that. How many gouges have you got now? And you know, what how do you sort of see that develop in the future? Are you still in the market for more gouges? You know, what sort of additional storage are you looking to give yourself? So we're working in, how many gouges have I got on the bench? Say 30, 69. There's probably 100 gouges that we've got on the bench with us. But within that, do I need 100 gouges? No, probably not. And in terms of, you know, if it's storage like that, yeah, I would say personally, I mean, there's probably about 40 gouges that I can't do without. So I would be looking for that as a sort of minimum. Does it give you that sort of space? Is there a carver that isn't in the market for more gouges? Yeah, exactly. You're always, that's what I would be thinking on is to give yourself space for that. Probably though, at any given time, I would have 50 gouges that I would be working with all the time. And as we said with it, you're always on the lookout for more. But if I was going to make something like that, yeah, that'd be the sort of number that I would be thinking on. Yeah, so it's that sort of ballpark I would be aiming for. You know, we have sort of quite simple storage units here, and it does a great job for us, really. Because we got the gouges here, we can see them clearly, and they're easy access. I have 20 or so gouges now, all about the same length, about the same as the ones you use regularly. Worried there may be longer ones. Yeah, I mean, give you an idea. Those two there are probably the longest gouges. I've got 1 or 2 others in here. That one, it's got a bit of a longer handle. I've allowed for 80. There we are. And a deeper draw for sharpening the thing. Yeah, that sounds. I would say that you got plenty there, because for instance, like if I was making a storage system like that, something like that, if I've really got to leave it somewhere else, then I'm not going to worry about it too much, because the number of times we use it is quite minimal. So in terms of wood carving gouges, they don't usually get that much larger than these. You know, it tends to be more your wood turning kit. So if you're doing something like that as well, then you may, or if you think you may go and do something like that in the future, because I mean, that's popular. It's sort of fusion stuff where where you're doing turning and stuff like that. But if you're doing the same as us, where you're scroll sawing, wood carving, that sort of thing, then yeah, you should be fine. Sounds good. Sounds like a good system. Design the cabinet around the mostly used gouges. Leave room for the growth of 5 to 7 gouges. My main tool stand holds gouges at 10 inches. That's the other thing you could do is to maybe go up to 10 inches, but I would still think that 9 inches should be sufficient. We say all of that, and then you'll go and find a gouge that's perfect, and it's 11 inches long. But no, I'm not familiar with many gouges of that sort of length. That sort of length. Not many at all. The wood carving ones, they tend to be a little bit smaller and a little bit finer. So you can see we're just doing that beveling the edges as well, getting that shape on it. Thanks, Carver. 10 inch. There we are. Good, good. Good, good. It's one of those ones where it's probably best to allow for a bit extra now, as opposed to paying for it in the future, where you've got to redo everything. Storage with gouges. It's always, again, another thing to think about. So I've seen all sorts of different ones. I know there's a photo of a Lovespoon carver. I mentioned him last week, Mike Davis. And Mike, I always thought, because Mike now on Instagram, and I always like the one photo of him with his gouges, with his tools. He had like a hollowed out log, so he'd put the gouges into there, which is perfect because you're not damaging the ends of the tools then, because they're in like a hollowed out log. And it was very, very in keeping with Mike, because he had that. He does, from what I've seen, he does painting. He's a bit artistic, and I always thought that was quite an artistic way then to store your tools. Really good system. So all he would have is like a large file is where you run into gouges of that size. Right, that would explain it. I've never used them. That's one that I've never used. I've seen different people using them, so that's probably why I'm not familiar with that size of gouge. Yeah, Mike would have like a log, and then he'd put the gouges back into the log, so quite a nice way of storing them. Might demonstrate actually how to, that as a method for storing your gouges. Quite a simple but effective and attractive way to do it. And so all you would do with that, see, you can just get a log, and then you can just drill holes in them, or even carve out holes large enough to drop your gouges into. Them. And so it stores all your tools. So you can see now we're starting to make a bit more progress on this one here. Still keep going back to that and thinking, it's not quite right. But there we are. We'll work on this one before we decide whether we need to do something with that one. That's the thing with wood carving as well, though. You're going to get occasions where you do a carving and it's not quite right as far as you're concerned. And it's important then to get it to a stage where you think, yeah, that's right, that's good, and I'm happy with what I've done, with what I've produced. That's the key to it. You want to be satisfied with the job that you've done at the end of it. If not, go back over it and sort it out. There's a little bit of wood there that I'd like to get out, but we will sort that out afterwards when we're carving the surrounds. So on to our carvings that we do regularly, things like our little daffodil here. You may have noticed that we do all sorts of different sizes when it comes to the daffodil. So we do larger ones, smaller ones, and just depends what we're sort of what the design is, what the requirements are for the design as well, and what the size is, what the space is, that sort of thing. With this here, I'm going to try my thought process is to keep the cross where it's sort of, you know, these flowers are part of, it's all part of one design, as opposed to keeping it sort of separate. I'm copying-ish the cabinet from one of the back cover of How to Carve by Richard Blitz, which I picked up from a charity shop this week. I will make it look vintage. Sounds great. Richard Blitz. I'll have to have a look around, find out who that one is. Not familiar. I'm terrible, I am. I'm not familiar with a lot of the different carvers and things like that. Growing up around it, it was just always something that we did, and always something we were involved in. And so I've never sort of studied different carvers and stuff like that. So you can see we're just doing the stock cuts now ready. The reason I've done these ones is because the hockey sticks are separate from this part of the design. So we got those stock cuts to bring them separate, but I want to try and keep the flowers and the cross, silhouetted candle cross. I want to try and keep all of those in together, all sort of one and the same section. So the idea, see, we got the owls and the shamrock as one section. You've got the hearts sort of standalone, the cross, the flowers together, and then the sport motifs down the bottom. So that's how we've got it sort of divided into 4 carving areas, basically. And that's a big part then when it comes to the initial design, is trying to decide, you know, what you're going to do in terms of where you're going to put things, how you're going to organise stuff, what works from a practical point of view, what works from a design point of view as well. I thought I'd missed a comment then. I do keep, oh yeah, I did miss something. Sorry, missed that. Something I found instant olds. Yeah, absolutely. And we got, by the second hand, it's hard, but even second hand, it's hard to get a bargain. Yeah, I've seen a few people using the file or feel or gouges. They're quite a popular choice now. Not one that's not one that I've ever really come across much here. I think what it is as well, we're always sort of searching in a slightly different category with the, you know, the gouges that used to be made here, Herring Brothers and Addis. The steel's so good that I think it's a similar thing with when we're talking about the Niqua blade, for why we never tried out Flying Dutchman blades before. If they're doing the job, you don't worry about it. So you can see now again, we're getting all the stock cuts ready on our rows, and we'll then start using that to get the different layers, different depth sorted out. It's starting to come together. Happy with the progress so far on it. And I'm going to drop this part first of all. That bit gets dropped back, just like so. So we angle that back. And then pieces like this one here, they get dropped right back. So with the rows, the different layers, the different levels that we're looking for, the top of the rows here gets pushed back, and then we use our full stopper just to finish it off. The this bit, this centerpiece, will be the most raised part. The petals we will push behind, like so. And then the stem, we will push that just slightly behind. So everything is behind this piece here. And then this is angled as well, to try and create that sort of, as if you're looking at the rows from a certain angle. It's coming on. Have I missed something? May have to pop off in a bit. Need to go vouch for a friend voting in the election today. Oh, It's election time, so are we? Interesting. Should we changing for yourselves possibly, or the same as? We have elections here in Wales. We have the UK ones, and we have the Welsh ones as well. We used to have European ones, but that'll all be stopped now because we're no longer part of Europe, although the map disagrees. And so yeah, we have a few different ones, or we have local ones as well. I think in different places you vote for all the things and at the same time, but not here. We have all sorts of different separate ones. I would like to see that finished. Yeah, I'd be interested to see how how that one comes on. Interesting storage system. As we said, there's all sorts of different ways for storing your tools and things like that. We tend to be looking for what's the quickest solution, as opposed to quite often what's the nicest solution. So you can see we're just dropping back the levels on the stem, but we've kept that stem all part of the cross, so it's all tied into the cross, all as one single sort of carving section. Other things then with this one, you probably noticed it, that it's a nice piece of oak. It was a piece of wood. I came in on what it is. We had a situation where we're actually out of stock on certain designs on our website. So I was in over the weekend and we were marking out and sorting out. So we've had a little bit of a run on certain designs, in oak. So we've marked some out so we can replace them. I'll send you a pic on Facebook. Brilliant. Yeah, it'd be great to see it. Always interesting to see different solutions, different methods, different ways of doing things. It's also given me an idea. I think that would be, I'm thinking of doing a little video on tool storage, simple sort of solutions for possibly doing it. That method sounds a bit too complicated for myself. Nice solution though. But we're always looking for something like that, the quickest way we can do something. There we are. What's the like that? Daz just walked in here now. What's in terms of gouges, what's the longest sort of length gouge you've ever sort of come across? You were saying about the file or fill one, they get up to 10 inches long.
Is that from the actual blade
Swiss.
now?
I would say it's blade and handle.
I mean, comes that one there, do.
Most of ours are smaller, aren't they?
Oh, that's about 10 inches. With a handle as well.
Yeah?
But okay.
This is where it gets a bit confusing. I was brought up in centimetres, see? They changed it all in school for us. But I get mixed up between the two. Right, let's carve out a little bit on the daffodil as well. So working on the other side. I didn't think it was quite as long as that, but Thomas the woodcarver's off to measure it for us just to double check.
That's 10 inches.
There we are. That one is 10 inches as well, and that's an Addis. So it shows that. So originally, that might have been a little bit longer,
Yeah.
But I think 10 inches for a storage system should be sufficient.
Ones are shorter. That's a box handle.
Yeah.
Addis. Where does that go there?
Goes in the middle there.
Whereas these, you see, these are a bit more delicate.
Yeah.
That's 7 inch.
Well, that's what I was thinking. Most of ours, I was thinking of sort of 7, 8 inches maximum.
Back to 10 inch.
That's a good size one.
So that's a you know, I'd say it's a fair average. It's 10 inch for the decent ones. And that one's 11.
Right, so we got one here, there we are. There's one there that's actually 11 inches.
Oh, and what make is that?
That'll be, by the look of it, that's SJ Addis.
Yeah.
Cast steel. Yeah. A gouge we don't use very often, but it's actually, that's a really nice gouge, no?
Yeah, where's it go?
I'm not sure. No, that's in the...
Where did I get that from? Oh,
If it's in the background, I'm not so familiar with them.
yeah. There we go.
So, yeah. Right. I do have some Henry-Taylor spoon gouges at 10.5 inches, yeah. So they do get bigger than that, but most of the gouges we've got are around about sort of 8 inch. That's sort of 8-9 inches maximum. So you can see we're just shaping in and around this center section. And the next sort of thing we're going to have to think on, and again, it shows how one carving can help you, as long as you can remember previous carvings, because half the time I can't remember how I've done things on previous carvings. But this one, I remember doing the globe, and what I actually did when I did the globe, I tried to carve all the detail and keep that, but I think that sounds like a good solution, yeah. Otherwise it starts getting ridiculous. You may, as you say, anything longer, it's time for a replacement handle. Yeah, this one, what I'm going to do with the football is to shape the football, then put the detail on it. Don't try and keep the detail and get the depth, and then go on to putting the detail. It just doesn't work. Also noticing as well, and it's not surprising, I'm noticing over the last week or so that a few of the gouges, they're actually due for a bit of a sharpen. This one is one in particular, and I think could just do a little bit of going over on the tall mech again, just to get it cutting a little bit better. So it all makes a difference. You can see all we're doing as well on the cross, we're just beveling the edge just to shape it a little bit. This part here as well, we're just going to take that down into there, and then bevel this, and we bevel in this, just like so. There we are. So we're just going to shape that, and yeah, this part as well. We've dropped the depth down on this one here, but I think it's nicer to, as opposed to sort of separating the cross, I think it's nice to have those flowers as part of that either side. Have I missed something there? Quote Blackadder, it's not what you got, but you stick. I don't know. It's not what you got, but what you stick. Indeed. We're getting into the realms of cunning plans. So just shaping the bottom of this part here. And we will start getting on to those, our sporting sort of thing. So similar to the owls at the top, we're going to drop the depth down on the one stick first of all. And so we know, I know there's only sort of simple detail on it, but we know where that detail is by referencing the other hockey stick. And I'm also then thinking, as I'm doing this, how deep we need to go to shape the football. So that's all part of the plan. So just shaping that one as we go, dropping the depth on it. And we've also got to think as well, this one will probably have to go down a fair depth, because afterwards we're going to have to drop this stick down a little bit as well. So you're sort of anticipating where you're going to have to go with the carvings. as you work your way through it. One thing I've sometimes done as well is to reduce some of the depth that you have to put on something. Sometimes I almost go like at a 45, so we end up cutting it down more on the one side than the other, just to sort of match it up. So you can now hear Thomas the Woodcarver has changed over as well. He's now onto the belt sander. So that's what he's been working on. And as mentioned, we do two different types of Christmas decoration. Our standard one, that has more carving on it. And then we do a simpler version, which doesn't have any carving. And so if somebody wants, well, I'm going to have a look at this one actually. Is that going to be the best one? No, it's a bit too curved. That was the gouge I hadn't come across for a long, long time. And Dad just showed it to me. Yeah, we offer the two options because you can offer them then at two different prices. So a lot of people like the Christmas decorations, but if they're carved, there's quite a lot of work in them, so they're a little bit more expensive. But we offer, by giving a second option, where it's just a flat without the carving, you can offer it for slightly less. So, as I mentioned, this is where we learn as we go in. So, with the globe, I tried to put the detail on there and then do the depth, and that just didn't work out. So with the football, we're not going to do the same thing. We're going to get the depth, sand it all round. So we want more of a rounded off sort of shape to it. We get the depth. And then afterwards, we'll put the detail back on. I may need as well to reference a picture to do that, so I can remember where the different lines go on the hexagons. It's just basically because there's so much depth to this part of the carving that it's difficult to keep that detail on there. Hello, Nico. Been very noisy here, so may have missed the description. Is that a football? Yeah, it's a football. It is indeed. I watch the tripod there, Nico. Fishtail. Yeah, they do. Yeah, there's all sorts of different ones they do. All for the books. Hello, Sammy. Hello. Got a gouge. It's a fishtail, which I've never used. Yeah, am I right in thinking it sort of fans out as it says in like a fishtail style? Yeah, we've had a few over the years. Not one that we've ever used a lot, but you can get some really nice. Well, you'll have to. What it is, see, it's looking there. So you'd have to look there because it's looking at the carving. See, Nico.
Daddy, can you stop while I show myself?
Okay, go on then.
Hello.
There we are. That's Nico. How was school today, Nico?
Fine.
And what did you learn? If you're wondering, there's no problem with the sounds. It's just Nico's thinking about what he learned. What did you learn today? No, we're making good progress though.
Not much.
Not much. Another good day in school then.
Let me think.
Heldroid indeed.
And my head is hurting, Daddy.
You got a headache, have you? Watch my tripod.
Whose is the one with the emoji face?
Look, everybody's saying hello to you.
Hello.
Aubrey, the carver, and Dancy the Aardvarks as well. They're all saying hello to you there.
Hello.
There we go. Which one have you noticed? We'll try and get it finished today if we can, Sammy. A lot of the carving. So we're making progress. Are we getting there? What do you think, boys? Are we making progress?
Yeah.
Good, good. What did you learn in school today, Sammy? We got a shrug of the shoulders from Sammy. So there we go, another good day in school. You didn't learn anything?
Right.
Or a tripod? You were doing about tripods in school, were you?
You
There we are.
already know about tripods, don't you? Because Daddy works with them.
That's right. Don't tap that now.
Daddy, can I practice carving?
And do you know, somebody mentioned this one, Peldroid. What's Peldroid, Nico? Do you know what Peldroid is?
Don't remember.
Ah, Daddy remembers that one.
What is it?
Peldroid is Welsh for football. And indeed it is. That is what we're carving. They could have taught you that in school today, see?
People want to practice
You want,
carving.
well, if you give Gramps a shout, perhaps he can set something up for you.
No, I want to do it in the video.
Well, what it is, we got it pointing on here at the moment, see, Nico? So as you can see, we've got those shapes coming together. We've got the Peldroid at the bottom. The hockey sticks, the last little thing I want to do with the hockey sticks, we've got to shape them. I'll show you, Nico, we've got to shape them, we've got to sand them a bit. Like that. You want to go? You sand it up and down like that. You need a tissue.
That noise
Here we are, this is-
tripping over the background.
Here we are, this is the Sammy and Nico. Sammy's using a tissue with his lollipop on the spoon, and Nico's going to do some sanding for us. A bit further up as well, just on there. That's the way. Now I know we should.
Should I do
Very
right
good.
here?
We should. I know we should have a block for doing it, not because the camera's up here. We should have a block, but because of the shapes and everything, quite often with our carving, we can't use a block because it can't get into everything. I've been
Daddy,
doing
please,
Welsh
can
on
I
Duolingo
carve
for a few
some
years. Pretty well that. Only free resource here. Yeah, I use Duolingo
Can
a
I
lot for.
carve some of the paper?
Oh, careful, not there. Don't, not on there. You can do. We'll do a little bit of sanding, and I'll do some carving with you in a little bit. Okay? A little bit more sanding. There we are. Up and down like that for me. Quick, quick. Straight up and down, not across. That's it, with the grain. There we go. Good
Do
job.
all of the grains
Well
go
done.
up and down?
Yeah, that's the grain of the wood. Don't worry about that. Leave that there for now because of the tripod. See, Nico?
Daddy,
Hello, Sammy.
can you put this in the bin?
We put that in the bin after. This is definitely turning into the Nico and Sammy takeover. I'm very good too. It's great having them in and around the workshop, see? Learning the same as I did when I was their age. Now Nico's working with, he's got a little scroll saw blade there that he's using to cut. And what flavour is your lollipop, Sammy?
Mine was
Strawberry.
I think mine was
Good stuff.
cherry because they do the apple green and it looked more red.
Very good. Another thing then, for anyone who's doing different projects, we always mention it.
Daddy, what colour do you think's more popular of apples, red or green?
Oh, I'm not sure. We'll have to put that to everybody. Red or green apples? What's the more popular choice? I quite like the red apples. I like green apples too, but I'm going to go for red. Be interested to see what everybody else thinks. So with this one, you can see again what I was mentioning is that it's marked out with a vertical grain.
There you go.
So makes it a little bit easier in the carving.
Shall I show the people the comments down below?
Or they'd be able to see that, see?
Yeah, but can I show them what it looks like on this computer?
There's, well, look at, we got a few laughing emojis on there, haven't we?
Yeah.
Which is always good to see because it means that people are enjoying, doesn't it? And that's what we hope.
Yeah.
There we are. So have you remembered anything you learnt in school?
I'm behind you, Daddy.
Tripod.
Are those two laughing emojis by the same man? Daddy.
You've spoken to the man who put those on there. I can't start that. Nico cracks.
Daddy.
You've spoken to him. We were talking
Daddy.
to him the other week. Do you remember?
Daddy. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Daddy.
Hello, Sammy.
You can't see me.
I can't. You're behind me, see?
Is he a fan of your channel?
Well, he's helped me out a lot today because I was carving the owl and I started off carving it and I was carving it wrong. Well, not wrong, but not the best way. And so the carver said, if you do it this way round, it'll work better. And it was spot on.
Is he that American man?
You're right, he's from America. Absolutely. There we are, so you can see a little bit of details.
What is it called? The Navy?
Korsman.
The Navy Corpsman.
That's it. You remembered. Well done, Nico. But you can't remember what you learnt in school.
I learned nothing.
Oh, dear me. There we are. So you can see we're just taking out a little bit more detail, little bits of detail. That Nico, watch the tripod. I really like roams. Ah.
Daddy, how do you got to move that? I saw
So
it
roams,
move.
they are red. So there we are. We got a vote from me for the reds. And we got another vote for the reds. We got a red or green, preferably in a pie. I picked a bunch of them yesterday. Hello? So we got one vote for reds and greens. We got another vote for reds, and Daddy went for reds too. So what do you think are going to be the more popular choice then, boys?
I think both because Granny's only. Green.
Oh, Sammy's going for green.
Well, I go for both because Granny's grown. My Granny's tree grows green apples, but then mostly on videos, they're red apples.
There we are. So Nico's choosing both. So you can see we're just trying to get a little bit of detail out here. And I just took a little bit of a splinter out of there, so I'm going to have to just drop that down a little bit. So this live stream's turning into the apple vote. I think so far we got one extra. Hello, Sammy.
Did you find Christmas tripod in here?
I haven't, no.
I've seen a video where they say they're always reading the comments.
Really?
Yeah.
We try and keep up with them, but we miss a few. A reason for that is because we're doing the carving, and sometimes I miss a few, but I usually catch up after. Right, so we're making good progress. I think I'd probably round off the hockey stick a little bit more. I've got a sand as well. This hockey stick is a little bit easier to get the depth on because we haven't got to push it in behind the other one. There we are. So, same again, just angle that one. I'm going to put a little bit of angle on this one. I may come back the other way on this side.
Why I think one of those people there that commented is a YouTuber.
We think they're YouTubers.
Yeah. I think there
My
was
wife
some...
is inside watching the live stream. I think you're probably right. I'll be asking her later. I'll ask her, did she enjoy the live stream? It's probably been her favourite one so far.
Yeah, Mummy, which is Daddy's wife.
That's it.
She's always.
That's a coincidence, that, isn't it?
In Daddy's videos to check how they.
She checks on them to see if I'm working, doesn't she?
Yeah. Daddy, he's just about that.
You got Chispa's tripod there, have you? Very good. Right, so we've got to shape this one. And after. That's Chispa's light. Because that's right, Daddy got his light as well, didn't you? If you wonder, Chispa is their toy dog as well. So that's the background on Chispa.
Yeah, it's made out of the same thing as teddy bear.
Oh, look at that. It comes apart and goes back together, does it? Very good. So we've shaped around that one there. And I've got to think then as well, it's sort of hexagons that it'll go in. So we've got to try and make sure that we get the right sort of shape. It's going to be the right shape and size.
Do you want to tell us everyone the people that don't know how to do videos, how to do videos?
Well, I'm sure lots of people know how to do the videos.
Well, yes, but when I do...
Well, we could do a video one day, Nico, showing people how we do our videos. What do you think?
Yeah.
That'd be interesting, do you think?
I thought there's only one...
Nico is he's our ideas man. So when we're looking for ideas for videos and things like that.
You said so. Well, one thing you need for videos are backgrounds.
Yeah, there's a background, that's it.
You need a camera, you need a light if it's too dark, but then you don't want it too bright, or otherwise the camera won't make it.
There we are.
Make it so you'll be able to see, because if it's too bright it will look all white, but if it's too dark it will look all black.
So I'm going to have a punt now, Nico. I'm going to try and see if I can get all the shape of make it look like a football. What do you think?
Imagine if I just find one of my favourite YouTubers watching.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
So we're going to try and get the shapes on here.
I'm just looking at all your comments.
1, 2, 3, and then we got. Let's see if this plan comes together. Because I'm basically doing. Well, look, Nico. Look, Nico. What I'm doing this, and I'm basically doing this. I imagine Nico with a berry, a megaphone, and a. They think you're the director. I think you're spot on. Are you director, Nico? Do you know what a director is?
What?
A director tells. So you direct. You tell me what to do, when to do it, how to do it.
Yes, I am the director.
That definitely sounds like Nico. So you can see now we're just starting to get the different shapes. So hopefully it'll come together and
I
it'll
remember
look right.
someone walking to the shop and they just saw me sitting down on the chair and they asked me if I was the boss, thinking I was the boss.
And if Daddy would have walked in, what would Daddy tell him?
What?
Daddy tell him, yes, you're the boss, wouldn't he? Wow. So what it is, we're building up like almost like a
Daddy said
honeycomb shape. Oh wow. Gramps is now offering Nico some of Granny's cake.
I'll be right back after.
Okie dokie. So he's off for some cake now. So that's what we're trying to do, is to just get those shapes, the different angles sorted out. It's all gone quiet again. This is the reality, see? That is just typical of the workshop. And I grew up in exactly that sort of vein. And so, you know, people ask me then, how did you learn wood carving? That's how I learned wood carving, is as the boys are learning wood carving, by growing up around it and being involved in it, being around it. And as much as we can, that's what we sort of encourage them to enjoy it. Which hopefully in the future will sort of set them in good stead, and you never know, it may generate that little bit of interest to be around it and to get involved in it, because as you all know, it's a fantastic thing to be involved in. Let's have a little look. So you can see now we are starting to get to the stage where some of these, hopefully it's starting to look something like a football. Let's have a little look. So that would possibly come in there. I'm gonna have to change. I'm gonna have to change angles to get that one done in there. Something around about maybe the other way round. Something in there and in there. Oh dear, I can hear now. The boys have been collared there. It's homework for them now. Probably just as well if they're saying that they haven't learned anything. So this one, I have to go somewhere in there. And then we put a line somewhere sort of around about there. And there. And then as we're getting towards the end of some of these, I might have to use, what I'm going to do, use a spiked gouge to do it. Let's have a look. Was that a threat or a I think it was a bit of both. If those are hockey sticks, wouldn't that be a hockey puck instead of a soccer ball? Yeah. Basically, I think what the background of this one is that it's a couple, and one's a footballer, one's a hockey player. So hence you got the two different things together. I think that's the background on this one. Yeah, I'm not sure with Nico. That may be a threat, but I think his granny's collared him now and wants him to do some reading homework because they had a busy weekend. They had a nice weekend. There we are. Now I think we got the effect of a football there. We might perhaps we just go round the outsides. And once I've got this, we're going to go back to those owls and see how we feel about them. I think I'm going to feel exactly the same as I did though before we started doing this. What I'm going to try and do is to just create that effect. I'm thinking of a sort of traditional, well, not a traditional football, of course. They were leather and had a lace down them. But the footballs that I grew up using, and they'd have sort of raised patches like this. So we're just trying to create that effect. Of course, this would have been easier, this part of the carving, if I'd have kept the lines drawn in, but I thought it was best to get rid of all of those because shaping it around was going to be a bit of a challenge. Hello from Sweden. Hello. Thank you for joining us. It's been a busy live stream here. We've done a bit of work on like a cartoon owl type design. We've had Nico and Sammy, my two sons. They've taken over at one stage. They've now been collared by Granny to do some homework, and we had Nico doing some sanding for us. Sammy helping out too. And Nico was doing his job of directing, showing Daddy how to do it as well. It's also, though, very good for showing how the carving itself, we're never sort of too, how shall I put it? We're never sort of too serious in the workshop where we enjoy doing what we do. We have a bit of fun around it as well, and it's nice to. It's always been a sort of family thing, and it's not sort of keeping the boys out, that sort of thing. We like to have them involved. Yeah, I think that now that effect, I quite like that. It's almost created like a flower, which I quite like too. Got that one in there. We're going to need the smaller gouge to be able to get in there to cut it the other way. Let's have a little look on that one there. And now my mind is starting to go over to our owls again. Let's have a little look. So you can see as well, in terms of the technique, we're using the inside edge, so we're using the normal cutting angle, and then we're using the reverse angle as well. So we're using those two different parts of the gouge as we're cutting. So these cuts here, where we're shaping the football, that's actually using the reverse angle. Interesting to know as well, because we have, it's great that, you know, different people join us from all sorts of different countries. Now Sweden, have you got a similar custom in Sweden? Have you got a similar tradition to the Lovespoon, and anywhere else as well that anyone's joining us from? Have you got similar customs to the Welsh Lovespoon? Because it's great tradition, great process, and great material to work in. But let us know if you do. Might be great to have a little insight into it. How is it sort of similar and how is it different? I'm going to ask Dad as he walks past. How's that looking? I'll ask you first. What am I carving at the moment?
Well, I've seen the picture, so it's a football.
Right. That doesn't fill me with much confidence. Does it look like a football?
I'd been thinking it was like a flower.
I quite like that about it though.
But when you put the shellac on it, it might help. And it's only a suggestion, but you're going to be carving around there.
I am indeed.
So I would do that sooner rather than later, because it'll be easier for you to get inside, like, you know.
Yeah. Thomas Woodcarver always full of high praise.
I like the one owl, but the other one hasn't been finished it.
Well, to be honest with you, I may have to drop all of that down because I started off doing it in the wrong direction, and it was the carver who I asked everybody, and the carver said, because he'd been doing a carving with the jack in the box and had the same problem, and ended up going the other.
What's the problem with the owl?
It's the mortarboard on its head. So basically, what you're telling me, you're happy with the owl, but you're not so happy with the football. This is typical.
Mortarboard's going the wrong way.
Eh?
Mortarboard's going the wrong way.
Well, it's not now, but originally it was, so I've been trying to get it back by extra depth.
But what everybody's got to bear in mind, and when they're carving and somebody says, is this what it's supposed to be?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's an impression.
Yeah.
It is not a real football.
Well, what would make it... Right, here we go. What would make it more football-like, see, is if I go back over these and go more straight lines.
Well, if you put Cardiff City on it or something like that, then that might help, you know?
Oof, we're not getting into that debate.
Especially Owls. What team is the Owls?
Sheffield Wednesday.
Is it? Sheffield Wednesday. Oh, well, if you put Cardiff City on that one, they love it.
Well, Sheffield Wednesday, who would love it? I don't think Sheffield Wednesday would be too happy. I don't think Cardiff would be too happy.
That's what I'm thinking, you see.
They'd all be turning up to fight about that one. There we go. That's Thomas the Woodcarver been and gone. So all I'm going to do, here we are. Keep him happy. I go back over all these lines. Straighten them up a bit. As he says, only impression, but we like to get it the best we can. So we're just going to go back over these lines. So what I'm using now, as opposed to using the curved gouge, which I spend 99% of my carving doing, I'm actually using a straight chisel. So it's just to give it a little bit of, make those stop cuts a little straighter. to make it more clear that they're sort of hexagon. I thought the same as him when he said it. So as much as I tease him, I was thinking the same myself. It looked a bit, this bit looks a bit like a flower. So by going over these lines, it makes it a little less flower looking and a little bit more like the panels that you get on this style of football. It's only a simple little thing like that, see? But I think it'll make a difference. All in all though, quite pleased with how the carving's coming on now. We get into that stage where we're well on. We got the twist on the stem, different symbols. We've also got a little bit of work to do on that hockey, on the hockey stick.
There's a shellac there, Dave, alright?
There, what do you think now?
Put the shellac there.
That's a bit less flower-like, no?
Yeah.
All I've done, see, I've just straightened up the stop cuts.
Okay, there's shellac on the brush.
Thank you very much. Just straightened up the stop cuts, makes it a little less flower-like, doesn't it? But as you're saying, it's an impression. Yeah, I think that's coming on. Oh, let's look. Sounds like my dad to let me know what's right with it by letting me know where I need to improve. Spot on. Wooden sculptures are more common here than the Lovespoons. Nice process though, again though, the different sculptures. A lot of work though in sculpture. Oof, a lot of hours and but some, yeah, you see throughout the world some beautiful work being done. It's we basically do all sorts of different carvings, but most of it we relate it back to the Lovespoon. And then within the Lovespoon, then we carve all sorts of different things. So we're going to work our way back up, doing the little bits that we've missed out. So I'm going to do the hockey sticks. Let's have a look. Just going to shape this bit back a bit more at this angle. And we've got little bits of detail. So I just put lines just to sort of highlight then where the handle goes. Also do a little bit of, use those stop cuts just to create a little bit of detail, just like so. And afterwards I'll probably turn it round and drop that part of the petal there, but that part of the stem I'm going to push that a bit further back. 1, 2, back the other way. And now, it's what I've been thinking on. Oh, I got a little bit of work on that daffodil. I'm going to leave that. I'm going to come back up to the owl. I'm not so worried as I was before about it. So we're still going to get a little bit more depth going this way on it. I start now back on the belt sander. Is it this gouge? Yeah, this is a really nice one to work with, this gouge. It's an Addis, a JB Addis, so this is the Sheffield Addis. And we're just angling it back that way. I think this part needs to be dropped back a little bit, like so. Heading off to the... Let's hold that. I hope it all goes well. There we are. That's Aubrey away. And as always, thanks for joining us. So you can see we're just dropping that one back a little bit more the other way, getting more of that angle. we're just going to go a bit higher there as well. I think that's... It's just getting it to a stage where I'm thinking, yeah, I'm happy with that. And I will look at it, and if I'm not happy with it now, then I'm going to carve the face back off and do it again. So let's have a look. Yeah, we're gonna leave it there for now. This is the point where you can end up sort of making work for yourself as opposed to improving it. Let's start on this one here. Oh, I tell you what, the last little bit we got to do. It wouldn't surprise me, if I'm honest, that if I end up with this particular one, it wouldn't surprise me if I end up carving all of this back out and redoing it, just so I can get it the way I want to. That again there, where we're doing a little bit of detail, as Dad said, we carve around the outside, so I'll probably, to sort out the wings properly, I'll probably do the outside outline of there. Right, on to this one. So it's the stop cuts around the head again. We're basically back to where we've started. But I think that this owl is going to be a little easier to do, I hope, because we've had one go at it already, so we know the sort of size and shape and the look that we want on it. So that goes round like so. So we start off shaping those feet, and again it's a good sort of method for highlighting how you learn as you're going along, and as a carver as well. I always think it helps if you can take on board what other people tell you. So as examples with that, you know, I put it out there straight away that I wasn't 100% sure which way to go with this one. Carver had a few thoughts on it, gave it a go, and it worked out that it was a better method than the one I was initially using. And so that's how you learn, and you try different things and develop. Let's have a little look. Right, so we got the... Here we are. So we got the top of the eyes, like so. So that's our stop cut on our eyes. We'll also do the stop cut for the beak. And throughout all of this, one of the main things as well is that it's fun. We've enjoyed it. It's been nice having the boys in it. It's been nice having you all join us. And it's coming on nicely. We're making some good progress here. So we go back the other way, again with the eyes of the owl. We need that gouge. So we're getting our levels again. Look at that. If only I'd have done that. Oh, Nico's back.
Granny tricked me in coming for the cake. I finished it all, and then she said, now I'm going to give you some of the school work.
You've been doing some homework, have you?
Yeah.
What homework did you do then, Nico?
The letters.
The letters. How did you get on? Good?
Yes.
Ah, very good.
Every one of them straight away. First answer right.
Now what I'm going to do, if you're going to be here then, Nico, when I finish this carving, can you do me a favour?
What?
I'm going to go through all of the different carvings that I'm doing, okay? And I'm going to ask you what all the different carvings are. So Daddy will have a good idea then of how much he's got it right and how much he hasn't. How does that sound? Is that okay?
Okay.
Careful with that gouge. Okay?
Okay.
Careful with that because that's a strong one, that. So what's at the top?
2 owls and a tree wearing this hat.
2 owls and a tree? Do you mean that one? Do you know what that one's called?
What?
That's an emblem for Ireland. It's an Irish emblem.
Well,
Do you know what the different Irish
why
emblems
you
are?
made the tree look like a cartoon tree?
Hey?
It looks more cartoon.
It looks like a cartoon tree.
Which all of them look the same.
Right? Well, do you know what it's called? Do you know what it's called? It's called the shamrock.
It doesn't actually look like a cartoon tree. It looks like a real life tree.
Right, so we got the owls and the shamrock. So what else is on there?
2 hearts with ja and like and ga.
Yeah?
Yeah, they're the 2 words that make similar sounds. G.
That's it. So we got the 2 hearts. Then below that, what do we got next? And just walked in is my wife. My wife's just walked in, so she's
candle inside of this cross, and then some flowers.
a candle inside a cross. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you got some flowers, and then below that, what do we got there?
A cross.
What are these?
A cross and a football.
Oh, we got the football. There we are. The football's good enough for Nico. And the other ones are what they call hockey sticks.
Oh
I got a bit of work on the hockey sticks, have I, Nico?
no, it's just because I didn't know what a hockey stick was.
Ah! There we are.
No, I want to stay here.
There we go.
And Daddy's working to come.
No, I'm helping him.
He's been doing a grand job here, Mummy. You say hello to everyone, Yelly?
Hello, everyone.
You can
They all thought that, because Nico's been in here helping me, they all thought that you were watching the live stream and you were probably having a little laugh. Oh, now I'm getting some looks.
Why?
There we are. So how's that coming on, Nico?
Look, and the hockey sticks are making a cross.
They're crossed over, that's right.
They
Now,
look kind of like swords as well.
this is another thing. I tell you now, when I was doing this design, and this is where we make lots of different things to different people. When they can identify, then you're nearly there. Yeah, spot on. When I was designing this one, another interesting one is that I designed the hockey sticks. I designed it with a bigger football, and the hockey sticks weren't crossing over. But the people who I designed it for, that's what they wanted it like this. And so again, we're always open to different interpretations, different ideas,
Let me show
and
you
how
the
different people
one
want
of
it.
the love spoons you made. But there's still
And
a
there's
bit of pink.
there's another little one. There we are. There's that spoon there.
Look,
And
isn't that your logo?
this is our logo. But again, I learnt, because I always used to do the acorn with little dots on there. But the carver, when they carved that logo for us, that's up there, do you want to grab that one for me? The way the carver did it was to cross over the lines, and I
Which
like
one,
that,
Daddy?
so I copied it. See?
Which one?
That's it. There we are. I'll blow the dust because it's up the top there next to my scroll saw. There we go. So that's how the carver did it. And I like that style, so I copied that one since the carver sent that to us. Beautiful little carving, that.
Daddy,
Hello.
shall I show? Can I see on one of the one you did? That was with the dots on.
One with the dots on. Which one's that then, Nico?
No, you said you used to do it with dots on.
Well, that's right, and I've changed it now, though, see?
But where?
If
what
anyone's
happened
wondering
to
as well,
them?
me and Nico at the moment we're actually sharing a chair. If I'd seen this without knowing, I would have guessed that this spoon is for a couple of teachers. That's what I thought. Yeah, well, it could well be that. I thought it was for uni graduates, and this is interesting. But yeah, it sounds. This is what happens, see, is quite often I don't even know the story behind it. Something in the back of my mind says there was something in uni was linked with it. But I would probably, yeah, it does sound along those lines. I'm currently carving. I'm currently carving with Nico holding onto my collar and looking around the side.
I want to have a go.
Not on that one now. We're nearly finished. We're nearly finished. Look, let me show you.
Some of the paper?
Let me show you. We're going to put a little line in there, Nico, and another little line just in there. See? So we're just putting little bits of detail. Again, I think I've gone the wrong way.
It doesn't do much of detail. It looks pretty much the same with the little dots.
Yeah, but it's those little bits of detail that when people look at it, quite often little bits of detail can be the difference when it comes to a carving, because it shows that somebody's paying attention to those little things that are important.
Now don't put your gouges in a place that's too small, because when I tested this little one in the smallest place,
Did it not fit?
Then I couldn't put it fully in, but then it was super hard for me to pull it out.
We've got to be careful with the gouges. So we're just going to finish the bottom side of this one, shaping that all round like so. And at the moment I think I prefer this owl to the other one.
Daddy, do you think the American man is still watching?
He is, I can see here.
Wait.
See, because if somebody's putting a comment on there, that means they're still with us. See, Nico? Did you have something to say?
Well, no, I just want to know what the time might be in America.
Ah, so you did have a question to ask. Nico's asking what time it is in America. Because here, what time is it? Let's check, Nico. It's 4:30.
Imagine if it was the same America. The same
Well,
as America.
in America, they're on what they call a different time zone. See? Do you know what a time zone is, Nico?
What?
Time zone. It's like when we go to Spain, it's an hour different. So you have different time zones.
Yeah, it's like 1 o'clock more in Wales.
There we are.
But the days is the same amount long, right?
Yeah, but it's just the day starts at a different time.
Yeah, and in Spain they don't really eat at 12 o'clock.
Oh, they have a different routine, don't they?
Yeah. When do they eat?
Well, we don't eat at 12. You eat at 12 o'clock in school, do you? Because we eat later than that here. We eat at 1 o'clock at home. But in Spain, it's about 2 or 3 o'clock. There we are. Right, so we turn it around once more. And we're going to just take the paper off these bits. That's Nico providing some music in the background.
Who wants to hear the Russian national anthem?
Here we are. So you can see we're just going to finish off the eyes on that one there. One like that. And then the other one just like so.
Imagine if I just...
What do you reckon, Nico? How's that?
Yes.
There we are. I think that will just about do us for today. That's where we're up to with our two
I want
owls.
you to do more.
No, we're going to leave it for today. We'll be back soon. We got the football. We got the hockey sticks. We've got the daffodil. A little bit of work left on the daffodil. We got the rose. We got that cross. We got the initials inside the hearts. And we got the owls and the shamrock. So nearly there. Do you want to say thank you to everyone for joining us?
I think that comment there says what the time is in.
Ah, yeah, you're right. There we are. The carver's told us. It's 11:36. There you go. So how many hours difference is that?
I don't
11:36, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you're talking 5 hours difference.
later or...
So it's we're in front. So we were having our breakfast when they were sleeping. So there we go. Thank you all for joining us. Hope you've enjoyed that. You can see we're making progress on there. Thank you to Nico as well for joining us. Thank you to Sammy. He's just come in as well. Yeah, any questions or anything, as always, let us know. And I hope you all have a good week. Hopefully we'll see you again soon. Thank you. All the best.
Hello.